with that, we will move on to a very interesting presentation by WiSTEM. So WiSTEM will be presenting on the role of technology in STEM for Nepal. So we'll have a 15-minute presentation followed by a 5-minute Q&A. So I'd like to welcome Binita Shrestha from WiSTEM for the presentation.
Sorry. Thank you, Barsaji. So I'm sharing my screen. Um, so hello everyone, namaste. Thank you for joining us today. And I am super excited to be presenting the presentation on the role of technology for STEM learning. And thank you organizing team for having me today. So starting with my introduction, my name is Binita Shrestha, and I'm working at Women STEM Organization, where we create STEM learning materials using arts and technology for adults and schools in Nepal. Um, so moving forward with the presentation outlines. Today, we will be talking about the following topics, and at the end of the session, we will also provide you the toolkit to get started with STEM because it's a new thing, and if anyone wants to get started with it, so this presentation might be helpful for you. Um, okay, so on context of girls and women in Nepal, being a woman or girl in Nepal, it is very difficult for us because our society is a patriarchal society where the roles of the women are predefined, and we have talked about it much in our previous panel as well. So data and research shows that women participations are very few due to the available gender norms and are also facing a lot of economic setbacks. And on top of that, our policies, culture, and tradition have meant preference to male over female, which also supports the root causes of the gender stereotypes. However, our society is in the evolving process and it's going through a massive transformation. And so women and girls are contributing a lot at the workspaces and also inside the house, but still women are underrepresented. So let's look at the women in data infographics. As per Nepal Labor Survey data, this infographic shows that only 36.3% of women are employed have secondary education. 81% of female age above are economically active, which is a great data. But as per this survey, the employment hours are counted even when they have contributed for an hour, or also includes all type of formal and informal jobs. And 65.5% female are in the informal sector, which means their economic generation is neither taxed or nor monitored by any forms of government. Also, the scenario is similar worldwide, and it is also believed that the Asia Pacific region have the higher percentage of uh, women than in context of the other areas. So if we again compare the employment by occupation and by sex, then women are at maximum, which is 57.5%, representing in agriculture, forestry, and fishery in compared to other occupations. So here, if we focus more into the sectoral data from the employment again, Nepal being an agricultural country, the agriculture sector has the highest representations in compared to ICT and manufacturing and educations and other employment sectors. So manufacturing here includes the knitted production of the knitted materials or wood crafts, pottery, and other things. So focusing on ICT, we have just 0.5% of women representation, and this is the major reason why we are here today. So digging on to a little more about the problems, starting with the main problem for female representation. So when I started my education in computing career, I could hardly see the women role models in tech. And there were very few stories, success stories, learning stories about women role models. And even if the women who have gone through such experiences and made through, they face the hardship twice in compared to their male counterparts. So even when we women represents more than half of the world's population, our issues are yet to be addressed. There are very few women-friendly innovations, putting the women perspective. So that is also the reason why women-led business are struggling, and also they are less funded in compared to male-led sorry, male-led businesses. So how can technology as one of the discipline in STEM minimize this problem and solve the gender stereotypes and involve a lot of women? So starting with the infographics again. So if we look at global status of the girls in STEM, only 30% of females study STEM fields in the higher education. 200,000 women are graduated in STEM fields, but only 28% are in the science and tech workforce. So the context is same for Nepal. As per UNESCO and World Bank data, there are only 7.8% of researcher and 14.0% of girls in STEM. And also 33% of female, 33 is the percentage of female in the parliament, and 20% is the average percentage of the women who are in the parliament as per UN Women 2018. So as we were talking about the representations, on the other hand, the global workforce is uh, is also in the transition period. So we are shifting a lot of digital digital shifting of our workspaces. We are witnessing the advancement of the tech innovations, and also the demand for data increasing every day. Our workspace demanding for inclusiveness and creativity. Um, but unfortunately, only 47% of women are in the global workforce who are so workforce. And the main idea here is to retain the percentage and also proceed towards the increment in every passing year. And for this, digital technology STEM can contribute a lot to achieve that. So this is why we will be discussing, we will be also taking you a guide through what is STEM and why do we need it in the 21st century, and how technology can boost STEM. So starting with the definition of STEM itself, STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. So arts is also one of the new discipline added into it, which I think I forgot to mention here. So it was introduced in 2001 by the scientific administrators in US, and it's an interdisciplinary approach to learning and educating with the hands-on activities to solve the real problems. So the hands-on activities are run under the project base and inquiry-based methodologies to provide participants an idea of how to think, how to problem solve, rather than what to think and what to problem solve. So we at WiSTEM, we have been doing the same, following the guiding principles of STEM, which is exploration, inclusion, and teamwork or collaboration. So, what are the reasons behind doing this? So you see in the previous slide, we talk about the setbacks of women and how we have the predefined gender roles for women. We were always told to be perfect, and there is this constant pressure that girls and women should be good at doing anything perfectly, be it speaking or cooking or even walking, or they should look beautiful. We are very less in very few of the families. The women are encouraged to be brave and take risks, because as we have been saying this, the failure stories are less appreciated in compared to the success stories, and this is why many women do not feel confident if they can problem solve and also be an agent of change. So STEM principle here helps to overcome those fear, allowing learners to explore things by themselves, because the methodologies are purely inquiry based and project based. They can ask questions, and they can use the technology to find it by themselves to get the project outputs at the end of the collaboration, teamwork, and by using their creativity. So there will be an exchange of ideas and design thinking. So lack of awareness about the STEM interdisciplinary approach is also the reason why a lot of women are not joining this field, and it's a global trending word, and very few are using it. So there are chances, there are changes happening all around, but a lot of rooms are still there for improvements. So this brings us to how can we do what can we do to maximize the representations. So one of the solution that has been proven to affect the roots to start the STEM early, before the gender stereotypes even starts forming, especially at adolescence age. Those stereotypes grow exponentially due to the lack of proper mentorship and guidance. So technology can boost STEM. So if we see how fast the technology innovations are changing and impacting the lifestyles of people across the globe, also during the global pandemic, we see that everything was shifting digital, from education methodologies to payment gateway integration by even the small businesses. And this has also highlighted the importance of digital technology a lot. So if there was no technology today, then this virtual conference might not be possible even. So therefore, technology acts as a mediator for connecting people with mentors to communicate and share ideas worldwide. Um, so also the global pandemic during the global pandemic, neither the educators and learners were prepared for the digital shift, given that the virus was here to stay. But we have witnessed the great efforts of educators, learners, frontliners on using the options of digital education methodologies, which was new for many of us. So technology has the power to reshape the learning methodologies to make the classroom smart and make the learning more fun and engaging. And also, one of the other ways how we can do that is using digital medias and art tools that also helps teacher to update their understanding education about education methodologies and impact the students more. So one of okay. So based on our experiences so far, we have been doing the same at WiSTEM to engage young minds to bring out of their comfort zone and build their imaginations, and prototype the STEM projects. So it can be anything like building bridge out of cardboards, understanding about gravitational and magnetic force, or PC programming games, or it could be water cycle process or germination of a maize plant, or even the surface tension of water. It can be anything and many more. So these all projects that we have been doing and implementing at schools is purely based on inquiry based and project based methodologies, and it also focuses on the 4C's principle, which is the collaboration, communication, critical thinking, and creativity. So, what can women do today with the help of technology, data, and STEM? So, there are many things. So, it depends on your own background and what field of the study you are wanting to choose or are already into it. So, as per my own experiences, I have been using technology to conduct research work, to study, to connect with students for e-learning, uh, be it using the project management tools or team communication softwares, report making. There are a lot of things, designing and development of the softwares. So everything and anything are today online based that I have been doing, and it's supporting me a lot uh, to in my growth. So I really recommend everyone to do so. So what if you are not from the computing fields? So the power of technology is such that even if you are not from technology field, it doesn't matter until and unless you have the gist to learn it. So one of the example that we have is our project manager story, who is the who join us, and when she joined us, it was a completely new topic for her, because she is a health economist, and she have been using technology and all that things as a tool to learn about STEM, and this has really helped us a lot. um, Now she has been leading the projects on STEM. So it's a it's a cross section, it's a cross sector understanding, and it doesn't limit people even if you are new or if you are pro to it. So anyone can start it from today, or if you have already started, that's great. um, So how we have been doing this? So there is a series of process that we have been doing, because as I've mentioned earlier, we have been working with adolescents, girls at school, and so we involve these processes to design, develop the STEM curriculums, and then also disseminate it via online and offline copies. And It includes the need assessment and SWOT analysis. From finalizing the curriculum based on the what beneficiaries and their geographical, their level of education, their grade. So depending on that, the result we get, we finalize the curriculums and do the recruitments of mentors. And for mentors, as in we are mostly taking the college graduate girls who are then given a training of trainers and then sent to the schools so that they can be the role models for the so that the young girls can connect to them, and eventually maybe 5 years down the line or 2 years down the line, they also choose STEM careers, or at least give it a try or research about it at least. So the beauty of STEM is that you should not you even if you are not into the purely technology or STEM fields, you can always use it in different different areas of your interest and your passion. um, so here is a reference toolkit that we have been following, and this I would like my team to you know send in the chat box so that you can go through it. And this is the model that we have been following, and we have been using it for the adolescence calls to develop the curriculums that is purely based on 5 disciplines of STEAM. But this can also be applied into different age group of women or beneficiaries if you are trying. So there is a process that can be followed. I hope this will be very useful for all of you joining here today. So what so road ahead with the STEM education that we have been doing. So I would also like you all to take you guide through 2 more slides, so that just explains about what we are doing. So one of the things that we are doing is connecting STEM with employability skills. And so as part of the Women in Data Steering Committee organization, we focus on the employability skills, and under the guidance of Asia Foundation, Data for Development, UKAID, and Development Initiative, and along with my committee members, including Open Knowledge Nepal, Women Leaders in Technology, and Call Center Nepal. So the involvement, so this has already been started and we are into it, and we are also involving government bodies, CSO organizations, and schools, depending on our project area. So what we are doing is need analysis of current employability skills and promoting digital literacy for young girls and even the women at the bottom of the pyramid. So also it's these are the projects where we are bridging the gender tech via our workshops and tech innovations. And also the disciplines, also promoting the STEM disciplines for adolescents calls up to K-12. And the next thing that we are doing is also with connecting STEM with education. With European Union and consortium partner organizations, we are looking forward to, we are working to connect STEM with education, supporting the online and offline STEAM materials for learning, given that the children of Dolpa have given that the children of Dolpa experiences or go through 6 months of seasonal migration every year. So there are a lot of dropout rates. So this is an attempt to minimize the dropout rates by providing the offline and online learning materials, and also establishing the maker spaces at 6 at Dolpa. And this involves the engagement of all the related organizations and government bodies. And having said that, I have completed my slides. which was quite lengthy. I know there were too many things. So now we are taking some questions if you have. So you can put them in the chat box or unmute yourself to ask the questions. So I wasn't aware if I was that clear. Uh, so you can text a question or ask by raising hand if you have any questions.
Yeah, it looks like the presentation was really clear, Bintaji. Let's wait a few minutes, like maybe a minute or
Yeah.
so, see if anyone's typing a question or something. Otherwise, we move on. Yeah, so that was a really insightful presentation from Binitaji and WiSTEM on the role of how technology really helps drive STEM education in Nepal. And it indeed looks like there's a lot to be done yet in the field. So I would like to thank Binitaji for the presentation. And if there's anyone like who's trying to ask more questions, they can send it and we can address that later on. So thank you, Binitaji and WiSTEM for the wonderful presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Barsaji. So I forgot to put the thank you at the end of the slide. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Barsaji.